Good morning, everyone. You should look at this front row right here. We've got purple, red, peach, I think. More purple. It's like color fest. I love it. It is. Peach. I was going to say salmon, but I thought you might get up and take offense. I didn't know. Oh, happy, this row, we're not going to talk how bland that row is. No. So now when you come into church, you're going to have to look down the row. Should I sit here? They do, sure. Yeah. We could do a shoe thing, too, sometime. We could, like, everybody, anyway. 2nd of February, right? 2nd of February. Yeah. Oh, man. It was a long drive. We drove my daughter down to... A long day, too. We drove Sophie down to Oregon to the Unity Camp yesterday. So, yeah, her first time. So her and her friend, we went down Friday and hung out at a hotel and swam in their pool, and then went over to the camp yesterday, and windy roads. It's like highway to Hana. It's outside Vernonia. It's anyway.
Yeah, by Seaside, almost.
If you went over the hill and fell down, you'd end up in Seaside a few more miles.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're going to talk about, evidently.
Hi, honey.
Good. So I wore red. I've got a blue shirt. There's some white on my shoes, so God bless America, all right? So on the way back, I was thinking about your topic that you listed, hoping you stick with it.
Yeah.
And going by the joint, the camp, Fort Lewis, McCord, joint something, JVLRQFD, went under Freedom Bridge and Freedom Way. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the very next thing I saw was Alaska Airlines is offering freedom points. I'm like, that's cool. I think there's a theme going on.
Freedom. We want it.
So if you don't know the words to this song, you probably know the chorus, so fake it on the verses. That's what I do. So here we go. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. Oh, this land was made for you and me. Go on, Sky, sing it. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, I've followed footsteps to the sparkling sands of their diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding. Oh, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forests to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, and the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, oh, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land, this land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Riddle me this. Let's start with a question. May I make a patriotic suggestion? Can our hearts take the lead in this historic time? 'Cause this land is your land and it's mine. Riddle me this. Can we choose to walk in freedom, walk in each other's shoes? Can we unify today with all that's happening? And pose some questions worth considering, like, who we gonna trust? Could anyone be choosing prophets over us? Am I wrong, or has this thing gotten serious? And is it safe just to ask a question? Riddle me this. Riddle me this. Here's the thing. How it hurts to see so many people suffering. And if we comply, don't we have everything to lose? You know, I think we do. Oh, say, can you see the faded flag of our American dreams? Will our founders' words be washed away? What would those who fought for freedom have to say? If those who gave their lives were here today? Riddle me this. What about our kids? Will future generations know what freedom is? So let our hearts take the lead. It's not that much to bear. 'Cause this land is our land and it should be theirs. Will this land someday be theirs? Riddle me this. Riddle me this. This land is your land, and it's my land. Down to those Gulf Stream waters, riddle me this. Can we ask some questions for our sons and daughters? Riddle me this.
Nice. Thank you. Steve Mason. He's going to do a concert very soon on the 12th
Yeah,
at 7 o'clock. Be here, bring your friends. Love offering would get you in the door. Or not. No, I mean, it wouldn't be dependent on your love offering whether you can come or not. You're welcome no matter how you come. And we're grateful for the gift of your presence. But most of all, we're grateful for you and your willingness to create this for us. Yay. Yeah. we have guests this morning, Bruce and Debbie. Yay, right here. The great people that have come off their boat in Anacortes to join us this morning. And how great is that? We met outside near the trash cans. It's the special entry into the church, you know. Secret, but special. Always something wonderful to behold out there. Were you going to say something? Oh, are you? Hi. What's your name? What's your name? Christy. With a KR? Nice to have you here. Thank you. We're always grateful for friends who come and allow us to spend time with you and to welcome you into what we call our warm and loving Unity family. So Unity of Skagit Valley is a happening place these days. We have much going on. We have many things to light up our lives and enhance and expand and increase our awareness. And we love it that you're here. There are flyers on the wall. I can't really see them except that guy's face, who looks a lot like the guy behind me. So that's where our announcement flyers are. Our prayer box is there, little brown box on that credenza. Daily words are there. If you don't have one, purchase one. And I'm not sure what else is over there, but check it out. The coffee is ready, I heard. And I just want to say what a beautiful day it is. Just to relish it. Put aside everything else and relish the day. Drink it in, enjoy it. Sam had a birthday. We're celebrating you, Sam. Happy birthday to you. Yay, yay. Anybody else have a birthday? Catherine? No. You gave birth to her on July 4th? Well, it wasn't your fault. Doctor was on vacation. Oh, she came in like firecrackers, that girl. Of course she did. Happy birthday. Yeah. Cool. The moon is spectacular tonight. So we welcome our friends online. We have a great time here in the room, but wherever you are, we are with you in heart. We are with you in spirit, and we're grateful for your presence. Whether you watch these at night or in the morning or wherever you happen to show up in any given day, we're grateful that you take the time to plug in and experience community even at seeming distance. What we know is we're never really apart, no matter where we are, no matter what day it is or time. So welcome to our friends, and welcome to all of our friends. What a great group this morning. We're so glad to see each of you. There's only one presence and one power active in your life and mine. If you've ever been to a Unity church, you have heard that statement, that affirmation of truth. There is only one presence and one power active in my life, active in yours. Active in my life, active in yours. One presence in a multiplicity of form, in an infinite number of expressions. All of life is of this one presence and one power. God by any name, whether you say presence, whether you say spirit, whether you say life, whether you say love, There is one presence and one power with you wherever you find yourself. Any day, any night, in any moment, you are made of that essence of life itself, made in infinite and fullness. And what Charles Fillmore called a vivacity of life, expressing. Who am I today? I am a vivacity of life, expressing. Enough of that. I'm handing the microphone. I'm letting go. Valerie, bless your heart. It looks green to me. Look at you. Look at you. We are a manifestation of wholeness. Thank you.
Yes, we are. And hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are as you're experiencing this beautiful service. Oh my gosh, what a field of flowers I'm looking at. Radiant and joyful. Today's daily word is perfect, of course. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. Seeking divine guidance means tuning out information and opinions and turning inward. Then, with an open heart and a quiet mind, I can better feel the nudge of my intuition, my inner voice. I receive divine guidance much in the way flowers in a field soak up sunshine. Just as following the sun is innate for the flowers, I have the instinct to trust my inner knowing. Even if my guidance surprises me, which it sometimes really does, I have the instinct to trust that inner knowing. I trust it to lead me on the path to my highest good. I follow where I feel called to go. I heed the still, small voice within and pay particular attention to the serendipitous circumstances I find along the way. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. As I do, I deepen my relationship with God, knowing that wherever I go, I do not travel alone. Ain't that the truth? The Lord will guide you continually. Isaiah 58:11. Thanks and blessings. Oh, this is a lesson I've been working on and will continue to work on, maybe forever.
Thank you. You do that so well. Thank you. Someday we're going to put up a rail.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Serendipitous circumstances. That was a tongue twister. Stood right out. Pay particular attention to the serendipitous circumstances I find along the way. I seek, trust, and follow my guidance. Nice. No drumming tomorrow night. Apparently there has been, Wednesday, no, is it first Monday? I don't know when it is. I just only know what's on my sheet. And it's the huge word, canceled. No, just pray. People feeling unwell. The photo fundraiser allowed us to have pictures done of our board members and leaders in the ministry, and we're really grateful for your donations to that. They're going to show up soon, and not on wanted posters. Um, in newsletters, in news, I promise. I can't say for sure, but I think not. They're going to be in newsletter. They're going to be on the website. They're going to be seen, and people can say, "Oh, look, that's the person who does X, Y, Z." So, photo fundraiser. Thank you. Today we're talking about orphaned kitchen items. Da da da, da da da. They come, but you go and they stay. I don't know what's in there exactly, but every year we collect more than our share of orphaned items. Please do a walkthrough and in the kitchen to pick up anything that may be yours and unclaimed items. I wouldn't even give them until the end of the month. That's very generous of you, Gail. But I would say they're going to be doing some cleanup stuff. If it's yours, take it. If it's not yours and you want it, take it. That's my philosophy about life. Please sign up for our email list so that we can keep you posted about what's going on. And if you have a prayer request for yourself, for anyone, for pets, for neighbors, for anything that occurs to you that you would like held in the light of prayer, our prayer team is always at work blessing you with prayer. So please fill out a slip, put it in the box. If you're online, you can go to unitysv.org, unitysv.org. Submit a prayer request, submit a request for information, whatever it is, we are available. We haven't always been available. We're doing such a good job of being available. We've probably been one of the better kept secrets in our town. And we're doing more work to be visible in ways that make a difference. So when you know things that are going on that we might be interested in as a community, things that grow or bring fun or something that enhances our lives, please let us know so that we can support that as well. I'm drawing a line.
This is the week for silent unity requests to go in, so
I was drawing a line, but
getting more bang for the buck.
this is the week that prayer requests go to Silent Unity, Betsy reminds us. And so if you fill out a request today, it'll go to Silent Unity right away. Silent Unity and the whole of Unity Village was filled with Unity ministers and students this week for the convention. If you remember last year, Unity's convention, you helped create the opportunity for me to go and receive an award. And as everybody was gathering there this year, I was remembering last year and being so grateful for the opportunity to be there and be in celebration with my fellow ministers and people who make Unity at headquarters happen. It's a great. If you haven't ever seen the pictures online or visited the Unity website, do so. You can learn so many things about Unity and the teachings and other opportunities. You can go to ministerial school online. I haven't seen people lining up for that opportunity lately, but people are doing it. They graduated, I don't know how many students totally, but a number of them came through an alternative path to ministry. And so there are newly seated Unity ministers just waiting for their next opportunity to serve. This is the week that I start with Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. So this is the week when we go and spend 2 days getting all the preliminaries done so that we can move forward in the more intensive part of this treatment process. So I appreciate your thoughts on Wednesday and Thursday as we get indoctrinated into the program and as we find out the rest of the information we need as we proceed. They've given me a calendar of upcoming dates. On the 14th of July, they'll be starting the actual work on my cells to change my cells, my T cells. I'm way more balanced about it than I was a few weeks ago. But it's a big deal. So on the 14th, they'll be withdrawing literally from my blood the T cells. I don't know how many you've got. It's like, will I notice? I don't know. Will I lose weight? I don't know. I can't say for sure. But and then they begin a reprogramming of those cells. They will reprogram them over a course of a month, and then there are procedures to happen, more procedures to happen, and then they replant them in me. In August, on the 17th of August, is the projected date for that. And then I have to live in Seattle for 6 weeks. At that time that they're going to reintroduce the cells, I'll be in Seattle for 6 weeks in what I call recovery mode. And at the end of that, it will be, if all goes the way it goes for so many people in that program, no more chemo, no more, my body will be a whole different system. So I haven't obviously known my T cells intimately. They're there, obviously. It's just one of those things you overlook on a daily basis. You don't get up in the morning, look at the bags under your eyes and go, I wonder how my T cells are today. But there you have it. So the course begins this week on Wednesday and Thursday. And then it just, it's like a high-speed movement of things after that. But I'm grateful, and I'm ready, and so there we go. And I know it's the right course because it's the one that was given to me. It's the course that was outlined for me. They gave me, there are days when you're grateful to be a little older rather than younger. They gave me what it would cost to program the cells if I wasn't on Medicare. $410,000 just to program the cells. I'm like, my T cells went, whoa.
We're listening now.
Yeah, they're like, this is really important news here. We should listen up. So anyway, thank you. Well, and thank you for the work we've done to, in all ways, support the systems that support us when we need it most. And how grateful we are when the time comes to hopefully for so many of us, I wish for everyone, that healthcare was easier for all people. And I feel very blessed and very fortunate. So anyway, that's the upcoming program, and enough about that. And that's how it is. And that's how it is. I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, I now erase, I change my mind, my mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, I bring my world into manifestation according to thy perfect law. The perfect law operative in and through all of life, in and through each of us, in and through the infinite manifestation of all creation. I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. One presence, one power. I am immersed in the presence, immersed in the presence, saturated with the presence. I am not just enveloped, but I'm saturated with the living presence of the one. Not two, the one, in expression here and now. As we move into meditation, and as we take that deep breath that says, now is the time to settle down and settle in and settle into the one. Notice your breathing. Notice the movement of thought in and through your mind. Be an observer. Be aware of the movement of life as it flows in and through you now. Allow yourself the experience of melting into the oneness. Allow the edges of your being to soften. And with your breath, move into that smooth, harmonious rhythm of spirit expressing in and through you. Breathe. And allow the flow to carry you. That perfect, infinite, endless flow. would it be like for a moment just to allow Spirit to carry you? Allow Spirit to breathe you. The Spirit of life flows freely. We are unlimited creations from the very heart of life itself. Life is not conditioned by disease or discomfort. Life is infinite, and the life of us is infinite, holy, perfect wholeness. From the inside out, the Spirit of us is the living expression of life. And we allow it. We allow it to be. Relax your body. Life knows how to do life. The wisdom that is present within your being is that guiding river that is constantly unfolding in the perfection of divine intelligence. The perfection of wisdom gives you exactly what you need. And we become open and willing and receptive to hear. Spirit, I'm listening. From the depths of my being, I'm listening. And I know that your still small voice, or the roaring power of your presence, is guiding each one of us perfectly on this path of life. I allow it to be so. Breath and again melting into that presence of infinite love. Not just held or contained in one place of my being, but everywhere present love. In the earth, in the heavens, in all forms of life, there's infinite love, the expression of the purity of spirit moving in and through all, as this presence so good, as this presence of that which is indescribable and yet always present. You are my comfort and my peace. You are my way showing. and step-by-step revelation. You are that which is beneath and above, behind and before, beside and beside me, moving forth in all directions from the center of my being, bringing forth harmony and order and perfection in all. Today, as I breathe, I allow your breath to be my breath, and your love to be my love, and the constancy of your light to be the light that guides my steps and all that concerns me. With a grateful heart, with that song of gratitude in my heart, I do give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
On the road of experience, trying to find my way. Sometimes I wish I could fly away. When I think that I'm moving, suddenly things stand still. I'm afraid 'cause I think they always will. And I'm looking for space to find out who I am. And I'm looking to try and understand. It's a sweet, sweet dream. Sometimes I'm almost there. Sometimes I fly like an eagle. Sometimes I'm deep in despair. All alone in the universe, sometime that's how it seems. I get lost in the sadness and the screams. Then I look in the center, suddenly everything's clear. I find myself in the sunshine in my dreams. When I'm looking for space and to find out who I am. And I'm looking to try and understand. It's a sweet, sweet dream. Sometimes I'm almost there. Sometimes I fly like an eagle. And sometimes I'm deep in despair. On the road of experience, join in the living day. If there's an answer, it's just that it's just that way. When you're looking for space and to find out who you are. When you're looking to try and reach the stars. It's a sweet, sweet, sweet dream. Sometimes I'm almost there. Sometimes I fly like an eagle. Sometimes I'm deep in despair. It's a sweet, sweet, sweet dream. Sometimes I'm almost there. Sometimes I fly like an eagle. Sometimes I'm deep in despair. Sometimes I fly like an eagle. Like an eagle, I go flying high, high. Ooh.
Yes. Yes to that. Thank you. Okay, then. Somebody should talk. I just have to find my notes. They're green. There they are. I know you know these Zen stories, but this one was particularly appropriate. Once an old monk sat in deep meditation in Japan when suddenly his meditation was interrupted by the harsh and demanding voice of a samurai warrior. "Old man, teach me about heaven and hell." At first, there was no perceptible response from the monk, but gradually he began to open his eyes. The faintest hint of a smile played around the corners of his mouth as the samurai stood there waiting impatiently, growing more and more agitated with each passing second. "You wish to know the secrets of heaven and hell?" replied the monk at last. "You who are so unkempt, you whose hands and feet are covered with dirt, you whose hair is uncombed, whose breath is foul, whose sword is all rusty and neglected. You who are ugly and whose mother dresses you funnily. You of all people wish to ask me of heaven and hell." The samurai uttered a curse, drew his sword, raised it high over his head. His face turned crimson, and the veins of his neck stood out in bold relief as he prepared to sever the monk's head from his shoulders. "That is hell," said the old monk gently, just as the sword began its descent. In that fraction of a second, the samurai was overcome with amazement and awe, compassion and love for this gentle being who had dared to risk his very life to give him such a teaching. He stopped his sword in mid-flight, and his eyes filled with grateful tears. And that, said the monk, is heaven. Dr. David Hawkins, you've read David Hawkins' work over the years, I'm sure. Power versus Force is one of his books. And his theory dovetailed with a lot of what we've learned through many years of study and experience. And it's about kinesiology, the power of kinesiology regarding states of consciousness and how we calibrate or vibrate, if you will, differently on a spectrum that we would call the expression of our consciousness at any given time, heaven, hell, or otherwise, all the places in between. And what he learned as a very accomplished physician, I can't remember whether he was a psychiatrist or whether he was a medical doctor. Anyway, what he came to was kinesiology had demonstrated a whole structure of human consciousness, that it wasn't just the individual, it was the individual's impact on all of life in these vibrational sequential expressions of consciousness. What is consciousness? Awareness. What is awareness? Current awareness. The sum total of what I know to be true in any given moment in time can be measured through the applied experience of kinesiology. And most of you have done muscle testing about your vitamins or about your something. Should I, shouldn't I, whatever. And he developed this amazing work about how we display ourselves in consciousness, affecting not just our physical body, but reality as a whole, not higher reality, but the consciousness that we call race consciousness, our collective consciousness, the way in which we all mix together a mixing bowl of thought, awareness, and development, if you will, of these different layers of expression. So Hawkins became really important. I saw him on 2 different occasions and was in workshop session with 1,000 people, and I had that opportunity a couple of different times. What the experience demonstrated over and over and over again was people that were telling the story of their life through the energetic system of their body and being, the way in which energy was vibrating in and through the unseen of us, not necessarily the seen, but the unseen of us at invisible realms. What he would say is most people function under 200 in various degrees, and all of a sudden we can plug into that awareness and see that most people share a fairly common collective awareness of life, not the same, but not higher level, just an agreed upon level of how we live and function at a more survival level base, and what goes with that. So on this spectrum, up to 200, you could see really common collective. And then those individuals who, by some choice or means or another, moved above that 200 level, would begin to develop into more expansive awareness, would see things from a different place, would function at a very different level. Words like, as you move up the spectrum, compassion come into play. Empathy, compassion, a different kind of love, not just emotional love, but a desire for the well-being of all, including yourself. At the spiritual development, we would see not just an authoritarian baseline at those levels, but we would see that we were budding uniquely and individually in keeping with certain ways of seeing and expression. And that is a very significant formative pattern into which other people can flow, and the vibration of the whole is increased and raised. So when we move out of just our victim survival level of consciousness, what we begin to experience is that it's not just about us. It becomes a much more inclusive is a word, but a unified awareness about what what's happening here is also seeding what's happening there and there and there and there. It's powerful work, the books, because he does a lot on the register, how different things register. And so there is a lot in the books, more than just the sifted out teachings. He actually demonstrates on charts the way in which an expression occurs at a certain level of consciousness. And that it's not a secret. We are that. And because we are that, we're changing the energy around us wherever we go. And the individual who discovers that freedom is not found simply on the basis of what the world gives us, but rather a way of seeing and being. The world goes on doing things that I can't be in agreement with necessarily, or at all, seemingly, many things. And yet, I can see that I am still free in the midst of those expressions. Why is that? The condition itself, if I measure it by external circumstance, would tell me that my freedoms are being affected all the time by outer circumstances. But what I'm experiencing when I have a glimpse into the window and when I move out of being my own barricade is that I remain free even though the outer circumstances might seem that there's a limitation or a ceiling or a constriction of the freedom around me, including my body. My freedom is something I am, and that although I seek freedom frequently, both externally and internally, that there are times when no matter what's going on here or there, I still have this cognizance of freedom, an awareness of my freedom. You can't take it from me. It's there. It's established. It is my kingdom of heaven that can't be taken. The circumstances might say, "Whoa, look at that. Your freedom is being constricted." No, outer circumstances are being constricted. This that is at the physical level or the material level might be restricting, but that which we are as spiritual beings, coming into a deeper awareness of the One, discover over and over and over again that although my mind might have been nuts that day, the vibration of my being is not even dependent on my mind, although we track it as though we are dependent on it. We let it own us. But the reality of being is this forever present reality of that which we have always been and which we will always be, even with the stories we bring to bear. So he's writing and he's talking about power and force. He said true power appeals to that which uplifts, dignifies, and ennobles. Force, on the other hand, is descriptive of conflict and condemnation. Force always creates counterforce. Its effect is to polarize rather than unify. To to differentiate the unique textural quality between power and force. Power is innate within us. It's one of our spiritual powers. The power to create, the power to move with, the power to rethink, to see differently. The power, it's right here. In cooperation with this vibrational center right here. In cooperation with faith, in cooperation with the heart center of love, the cardioplexus area. So this power center, used with these other faculties that are innate within us, the power of imagination, the power of will, the power of zeal. How far can I go? Strength, understanding, the ability to release and let go. All of these characteristics, the ability to birth and give life to life. All of these aspects, there are 12 of them that the Fillmores generated as our baseline operating system, as part of our divine nature, as our divine characteristics. We all have them. As we begin to wake up or awaken, we discover that we really don't move with force or domination, or this thing about the need for authority to influence us. That force. It's why you're here instead of in the one of the other churches in the area this morning. Not to hear me, but because there's something in you that resonates with deeper truth. Automatically and naturally, you know it. And it's why other things now don't appeal. They don't even register or calibrate on our field of consciousness. We don't think that way anymore. It's not how we are. But we have an understanding that everyone is calibrating at the level of their current understanding. And so he says, power then ennobles, it appeals to that which uplifts and dignifies, and true power, he said, comes from within. It's based on principles like integrity and courage and compassion. In contrast, force is external and relies on fear, coercion, and manipulation. Power comes from insight and higher levels of consciousness. Force comes from fear and resistance and lower levels of consciousness. The distinction is really important because we are empowered by spirit. We are empowered by these particular qualities that raise our vibrational energy in a way that allows us to see from an expanded perception, and as a result, affect the consciousness of everything around us. You say, well, that's not my experience wherever we've been. But I'm reminded of a Tibetan holy man that I met, and he was an extraordinary being. His name is Palden Gyatso, and Palden Gyatso was when one of the Tibetan monks, radiant beings, who was imprisoned by the Chinese for 33 years. Not just imprisoned, tortured. Not once a week, consistently. The idea was that if they could get these incredible spiritual leaders to yield to the authority, they would have a hand on the whole Buddhist population in Tibet, because these were the revered high lamas, teachers, monks, rinpoches. And so the belief was, if we can turn them, they will influence the others, and that will change the system to become more of the mind of the authorities taking over Tibet. So he was just, when I saw him, he was just this kind of radiant, bodiless being. I don't know how else to say that. Pure radiance. I read his book, and then I attended one of the Dalai Lama's teachings, and he happened to be there at that time. And he was just light. And what he said was, I was always able to practice Buddhism. I was able to practice the teachings no matter what was happening to my body, and no matter how long I was imprisoned, I could continue the practice of what I know to be true. He said, meditation can be done under any circumstance. When you drink tea with compassion, that's also meditation. You may just be walking along, but if you have a purpose and your mind is on the Dharma, on the teachings, that can be a spiritual practice. I was helped enormously by the teachings I had received on understanding human nature, and also the little meditation I had learned. This enabled me to control my body and my feelings. Not control over, but without resistance to. The resistance was within, in the place where he claimed his freedom. Another one who said, you can imprison me, but you can't take my freedom from me. And because they weren't allowed any form of communication, they couldn't write things, they couldn't read things, they had no access. They learned and passed on how to do mandalas in their hands while they sat. They would just do the design of the mandala, these sacred mandalas, in the palm of their hand. Or make the figure of it on the wall without water, ink, pen, knife, anything that would leave a display. And when he came away from that time, then the book was written about his life. And I thought, man, we get so trapped here that we're not noticing the impact in a way that is imprisoning us to a way of seeing and being that is too tight for the vibrational field that we're meant to be carrying. No wonder we get so miserable. We hold ourselves in these tight patterns, and what's happening is our vibration is actually bigger than that, and we're trying to force an elephant into a teacup You know, that kind of mind, taking this huge spiritual energy that's moving in us and through us, and in agreement with whatever the mind is saying, we're shoving ourselves into that form, but we're already these huge spiritual beings, emanations, vibrations. And we know it's not who we are. When you come into the awareness that who you are is not the limitation of your mind, there's something possible that opens the way for you to be in cooperation with your own vibrational expression and be lifted in consciousness into the possibility of expressing it at a higher level. I mean, who wants to hang out down in those lower vibrational levels? And you have to examine, what are the things that take me into lower vibrational energy? And is that good for me? I'm not saying it's bad like judgment. I'm saying, how does it feel when you're in that energy? And is that where you choose to be? Not because somebody else is at fault, but because for you, it's not a match with the very energy that's moving in and through you and moving you in a more expanded way. So what happens? You contract to try to hold somehow fielding consciousness, when in fact, what we want to do is take a step back and explore, is it worth my well-being in this moment to continue to ride this horse, which is taking me somewhere, maybe. So we look at the aspects of our being and we say, what is it that takes me down? What is it that raises me up? And we know that as we become more expanded, fewer and fewer things take us down, actually. We're able to live in that paradox somehow with a state of balance. The more